Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Van Orn and this is another Dragonheir Silence God video. Before the boss switched to the over 50% stance, the hard mode, I wanted to get another video out to try to help hold the players that maybe are still on server not on 50%, or maybe starting this event a bit later, or even playing Season 2 and preparing for Season 3. I just want to talk about something that is fundamental for the building of your teams for the boss. And as we can jump over here and see that my damage is not as crazy, but I'm still ranking 75 at the moment. The boss has passed the 50%. We can have a look at my teams, and when we scroll in, you can notice that all my teams have one healer and 4 DPS. Every single one of this team is revolving around only one healer, and so we free up so much space for the rest of the damage to come. And we do good damage with all the teams, even if I don't have a crazy stacked account. And some of my team are for sure lacking a bit of damage compared to the big boy on top of the ranking. Especially when we get to these 4 teams over here. We barely pass the 100 millions with 3 of them. And we get close to 90, a bit over 90 with this last Dauntless over here. But it's not to talk about the entirety of the team. I already have a video out that was talking about the timing, the placement, the champion composition, and what you need to do for pushing damage on this boss. I just want to stop and focus on the healers because it's what is going to enable you to build this team with 4 DPS. And so we're going to jump into the sparring page where I can show you my comps and the gearing and the strategy to use for each of the healers that we're going to talk about tonight. Now, I don't have all the healers that are able to do this on this boss. I have only few. And so we're going to focus mainly on the one I have that I tested personally. We are going to talk about also about the other options, because there are many options out there that I don't have, and some of the options that I have but I didn't make work because, well, they were not fitting in the team I needed. But let's start from the first team, which is obviously my Shadow, one of my best team this season. And beside the placement, that is almost irrelevant for what we're talking here, we have to talk about Tia. Tia is an absolute amazing champion this season. She has been in my teams from the beginning. When in the beginning of the season I was struggling with the fire domain, she was there with my team at level 90s. She was there to protect the team, get the block buff, and keep the team running during the fight when we didn't have the gear and when we were not supposed to be able to farm stage 5. She was there helping my team. So if you're early season, don't be worried about building this champion. She's going to be good throughout the entire of the season. She does place invisibility, and debuff immunity on her ultimate, and the most important part is that her recharge time is 16 seconds even before any skill haste or anything. So you only have to push a bit of skill haste in her to get that recharge time below the 15 seconds. The boss has a 30-second rotation, so all you need is that. She's gonna go twice per rotation, putting up the debuff immunity to get these spells obviously, but she's still gonna place the invisibility. And then she's gonna heal with her battle skills, the allied with the current lower HP and the allied with invisibility, by 200 attack plus 2000 enlightenment. So you need to push a bit of survivability in her because she's not there really to do damage, and so we want her to stay alive. Obviously, we want that skill haste to go out as soon as possible, as often as possible. We are using an HP Moonlight Mantle to try to push her HP quite high. And then we're using an HP Gauntlet, and we are looking for Enlightenment and HP on substats on the rest of the gear with skill haste. And we are using the Everlasting Diamonds, which is an artifact that if you play Season 2 competitively, you might have. And if you don't have this one, don't worry. There are alternatives. You can use the mirror and helps the healing as well. So what we want to boost is her healing factor. She's going to go twice, heal the team, and keep it running. For me, this has been a revelation. It's been the first team that I made work with one healer. And so from there, I've been every day trying to push all my teams in a better conditions with the healers, keeping up the team with only one healer. You free up so much more damage. It is absolutely crazy. So Tia is the first one we're going to have a look. And the second one has been a bit of a struggle for me, but she's now an absolute beast. She's incredible. She can keep the team up and running with no trouble whatsoever, and she is absolutely amazing. Now the placements of this team really doesn't matter, just spread them out so they don't take the damage, as we said, but we're focused on Estella tonight, and she's built in a very similar way, but she needs a bit of protection for the team because this team is particularly squishy. Dauntless champions are very good for damage, but they are not very naturally high HP or defense, and so we need someone to carry on the team and keep them protected. And so we push a bit of defense. Around the 2000 is a good point. She still needs to stay alive because she's soaking up the damage, but you need to push a lot of HP on her. And so we're using Enlightenment Chest on her because she's scaled from HP and Enlightenment. We want to push HP on everything, HP Gauntlet. We're looking for HP and Enlightenment if we can. We have a defense positive rune and a defense negative rune to get that HP up. I've tried to win completely HP and she was taking too much damage and dying, and so I built up a bit her defense, and this made the trick for me. I'm using again the Everlasting Diamond to boost the healing, give her HP and Enlightenment, which wants what she wants and need to heal, and she does the job for 8 minutes straight like Tia, keeping up the entire team for the entirety of the fight. And so you can bring your full DPS, which can be Shadow, Dauntless, or whatever you want to bring, and she is absolutely amazing now. She was not so good until they buffed it, and now she is one of the best healer in my opinion as Epic goes so far. And she also have a good aura when you try in Pillar Trials and Famiander, so don't forget about that too. The third is the one and only, the mighty Garius. He is obviously very famous. Everybody knows how good this guy is. He can keep up your teams in pretty much every content. He has a good defense aura, which we're not going to use in this fight, but he basically scale is healing from defense, and so you need to push a lot of defense on the champion. There are two ways of building this champion, to be honest. This is the way I'm going with the gatekeeper stuff. I have the legendary artifacts that I'm using, but there is a way of building him even without this one, so don't get too scared. If you have the gatekeeper stuff, you can forget anything else but defense and skill haste. I want him to have skill haste. I want to push a little bit of skill haste now and then, because obviously he goes with his ability as often as possible. I let him free. I don't give any timing. I just go freely through the entire fight, similar to what I do with Estella. With Tia instead, I'm timing her ultimate to go twice per rotation. All the rest of the champions have basically a recharge speed time for the ultimate, which is longer than 15 seconds, and so we are just letting them 3 to go. He pushes defense high. He has over 4k and 500 roughly defense, and that's pretty much everything you need from this guy if you use the gatekeeper stuff. If instead you're going for the artifact that gives him defense, which could be the red one, the banner, I think, or the eye patch, the eye patch with the new artifact for season 3, which is absolutely amazing as well. You need to build him with resistance. You need to push that resistance around 300 something with all the buff that you get for the season from the alliance, from the fight with the boss and everything, is going to start resisting that turn meter pushback on the ultimate. And so keep the team running and everybody top up with the health throughout the entire fight. So if you don't have the gatekeeper stuff, don't despair, you can always use them with a different build. It's obviously going to protect everyone with the protection set in this case, and so these squishy teams stay alive throughout the entire fight. The next champion up is his brother, basically, and is the other amazing tank. That is Furbat. Furbat is absolutely incredible as well. It should be one of your first pick, if you don't have Garius, or if you want to pick Garius, I hope you pull him from Dice because it is incredible. It's able to change account. It does so much work in any kind of content. And in Season 3, being paired with Ice is one of the best options for healing unless you have one of the crazy legendary. He has a defense aura, which is not usable over here because it's only usable for dungeon. But for dungeon, obviously, you can use him. And he has a kit that basically helps with the healing of the battle skills. The battle skills goes off so often and it scales from his defense. So all you need is to push his defense as high as possible. And he's basically going to push out good healing throughout the entirety of the fight. Now, you can also build some accuracy. I built accuracy 2 to try to land the decrease attack on the ultimate. We are doing all the fights without the decrease attack, basically. It's not really needed. You can get away without. You can push defense over here too. I had this good accuracy banner, and that's why I tried to build some accuracy, because I had a triple roll in defense. And so he is basically getting a lot of defense from there anyway. He's over 4k defense nevertheless. He's taking part of the damage with the protection set. He has a defense mantle, moonlight mantle. And I'm using on him the Solar Knight Horn because I want to boost the damage. Where possible, I want to use this artifact because I'm pushing for high score. But if you have struggle to keep your team alive, you can push more defense in here with the eye patch, as we said, or the banner. You're going to be able to push higher defense and so protect your team and heal even more. He is another incredible champions, and so far we saw 4 epics. They are all able to keep up with the final boss. We are now going to see a couple of different options which are less free to play, but the next champion up is the champions we got, or we should have got, if we played throughout the entirety of the season to pushing a bit of content, which is Ardred. Ardred, I was quite surprised. I didn't know that she could keep up so much healing with the entirety of the team, but she does, and all she needs is basically to rotate her battle skill as often as possible. Now, I'm using the hourglass over here. If you don't have the hourglass, you can get one of those 2 artifacts that basically give you reduced timing and recharge, either for the battle skills or for the ultimate, which are the incense burner or the candle. Those 2 artifacts are obviously shortening down your time for recharge for those ability. Personally, I haven't tried, but if I didn't have the hourglass, I probably would go with the candle, because what I want is her ability here to go off as often as possible. Her ultimate is already below 15 seconds and lasts for 10 seconds, so is up for almost the entirety of the fight throughout the entirety of the rotation. So she goes twice, and you don't need really to push that one even faster, even though with the hourglass we are affecting both of the ability. But that it's fine. I will rather go with the candle probably and push her battle skills more often, so she heals more often. I saw people using also the horn on her to boost the damage, so you probably don't need even that, because you might don't need to push the recharge time even faster than this. So you might run it with the horn. I personally couldn't make it work the time I've tried. I should have tried harder, but the time is quite constricted for me between work and everything. And obviously we have to be try to push the keys in every day. And it lasted only for 4 days, which is a bit of a shame. I wish this 50%, early 50% will last even more. Maybe move the switching point to 75% will be even funnier because we have more time to perfect our team. But nevertheless, she needs defense, 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 defense. But she needs also the monolith set, so she heals even more with the battle skills and the ultimate. When she put up the ultimate, she's gonna help your team stay alive. So Audrey is our full 5th pick. Now for the 6th pick, we are using Nathaniel, which is another epic, which is able to keep up your team entirely by himself. Absolutely crazy. Amazing champion. Amazing. It was one of my favorite. It was probably my first epic I pulled from dice, and I love the guy so much. Now for this one, if you're struggling to keep up your team, his HP aura helps quite a lot. I had no trouble running this team with the HP aura. It was keeping up the team for the entirety of the 8 minutes. But I wanted to push more damage, and so I had to try push with the attack speed aura from Shagrol. And therefore I had to do some adjustment. I show you the build now. He's built with the hourglass because I'm pushing his rotation below the 15 seconds. So you need more than 56, I think, or 55 skill haste from gear, and then you need the hourglass if you want to go twice per rotation. If you don't want to do that, you can go other ways. I haven't tried them, or at least I tried them, but it didn't work for me. So I have him with an enlightenment chest, HP gloves, and then I'm looking for HP and enlightenment everywhere. I'm not focusing too much on defense. I'm just pushing a bit of HP, pushing the enlightenment, and getting the skill haste over there. So he goes twice. And also, the skill haste will affect his battle skills. It's going out every 9 seconds, trying to keep up with the boss, removing those debuffs. They are quite nasty for the fight. We're trying to take them off as often as possible. Now, obviously, the skill haste from the Rift Hourglass is not visible in this report over here. So this is actually 157, and this one is way below the 9 seconds. It's way faster than that, because obviously I'm pushing with the hourglass in battle another 100 skill haste. Now, I honestly don't know if you can make it work with other artifact. You have to try yourself. Maybe you have the everlasting diamond, increasing the healing, but I found that quite difficult because obviously he plays continuous heal recovery over time with the battle skills, but it gets removed very often. And so even if he heals more with using the everlasting diamonds, I didn't find it quite effective. I would rather go again with one of those artifacts that speed up his battle skills probably, because it will get more effective for you. You can remove the decreased healing, you can remove the decreased defense, you can take less damage, you push it through more often, and then you use the battle skills every one rotation. You place it at the end with 30.5, so you put your defense up at the end of the fight with the shield. That might work too. I haven't tried personally, but I think it will be a better option than using the everlasting diamond, which I could make work. But this team obviously is just epic and rare and still does over 90 million, which is quite impressive for such a low budget team. Now, I've shown you my 6 first pick. I have an extra one, which is a team I've been playing around during these days, and it's Fenja. Now, this one is definitely not free to play. She's a legendary. You have to pull her. You have to be quite lucky. She's amazing. She's an absolute beast. And she can keep up your team by herself, as we saw for all the rest of them. She doesn't need timing. You just set her free. She has an aura that increases her enlightenment. She scales from enlightenment and HP. So very similar to what we saw before We built HP with an enlightenment chest, defense over here, and we're pushing HP and enlightenment everywhere else. And give her the Solar Knight on, give her defense and HP to boost the damage or the rest of the team. She's gonna heal and give recovery over time, dispelling debuff from the ally with the current lowest HP. She's gonna heal on the ultimate, and she's gonna put resistance up. So you can use it as a buff to not get your turn meter or ultimate energy recharge push back from the ultimate of the boss. These are my 7 champions that I've tested and made work myself. I have a list here with other champions that are in the game that could do the job. I don't have them, but it's worth mentioning them, I guess, while we are on the subject. If you have one of them, you might be able to get your team working as well. So the first one, it's the new and amazing Cinderella. He has an amazing kit. If you haven't, you use him everywhere. And obviously you can get this champions only from dice. It's very difficult to get it. You know, it's a legendary, so it's very RNG. He has an attack penalty, he has healings, and he has damage, and he brings so much. So I will definitely recommend using him if you have him. You can put the gatekeeper stuff if you have it for him. You can obviously push his turn meter as fast as possible to use the ability as often as possible as well. Absolute beast of a champion. The next one is going to be one champion that I want quite badly because he's enabling so many teams, and is Ogok. Poison, legendary, that it's 50% of the unkillable team. He has ultimate to put up immortality, heals everybody, he puts attack penalty. It is just so good. It dispel debuff too. This champion is absolutely amazing. Another champion that if you have, you definitely should use. The next champion is going to be, where is she? There we go, Jillian or Gillian. She is an amazing healer from the Radiance. She's able to keep up your team. She heals and put defense up. She has heals and damage reduction, an absolute unit, recovery over time. She has everything you need to keep your team running and alive. And Radiance have also another champion that is able to do that for you, and it is Celia. Celia is a tank that has an amazing kit. She has a dispel or debuff and plays debuff immunity, plus she heals for the target max HP multiplied by enlightenment. She can do massive heal. She heals on the battle skills. She's absolutely incredible. Another champion that I really badly want. And we have also Matrasia, another healer, another radiant champion. She has an aura that is useful in all battles, so if you struggle keeping your team alive, you can definitely use her. She has resurrection on death. She has debuff immunity, invisibility, heals, recovering over time. She's incredible, and she can keep your team alive for 8 minutes by herself. No other champions needed as support. Now there are 2 honorable mentioning here. One is an epic that I've received some screenshots of people making him work. I personally didn't test it. And his champion is Vikak. Now you're probably gonna have to build him quite tanky and with resistance, I would assume so, because his ultimates need to go off as often as possible. Is on a 20-second rotation, as we saw before for Garius, for example. You need this one to go off as often as possible, and so you can forget probably his accuracy and forget the debuff, as we don't really need them, but you need the heals to go out often. And so build them resistance and maybe use them in protection set to keep your team alive. I haven't personally tested this one, but I saw people making it work, so it might be worth it. You can try as well. And there is another Radiant, which is actually a rare, which is Quarian. And this one as well, I received some screenshot of a team working for 8 minutes. I don't really know how the champions was built, but his recharge time on his ultimate is only 16 seconds. The downside is that it is a 3x3, so you need to keep your team compact together. You're probably going to have to use something like Puppeteer on the Mona Lisa set on him, putting someone else in Puppeteer to share a bit of defense. He can keep the team alive because it goes twice for rotation if you put some skill haste. He has also some recovery over time here on the battle skill. It doesn't heal enough from my testing, but some people made it work. So if you can make some more research than me, and you find some other content creator that did some video maybe working with this champion, you have another healer that can make another team working. Now you only need 6, so I've give you a good list of champion over here, so hopefully you have at least 6 of them to build your team around. That obviously once you have them and you make them work for 8 minutes, you still have to build your DPS around, but the DPS is something we've already seen in the previous video that I'm going to tag somewhere here up, and so you can go look at that, look the timing and how we do damage on this boss for season 3 endgame. And this is everything for this video. I hope you enjoy it, guys, because I put some work in trying to make all these healers work. I hope it's useful for you, whatever you are in the game. And if you enjoy the content, as always, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'm gonna see you soon with another video. Until then, have fun.